You can all see and hear us now. Tonight we're going to be hosting our first Facebook Q&A, and it's going to be all about ICS projects and what your funds are going to be spent on. So first we'll do a quick introduction. So my name is Perry. I'm one of the fundraising support officers here at ICS. And here we have Jake.
Hi. Yeah, my name's Jake. I'm the VSO's ICS Monitoring and Reporting Coordinator based in the Youth Programmes team, so working specifically on our ICS projects here at VSO.
Great. Tonight we're going to talk to you about what the exciting projects that ICS is investing in at the moment, and talk to you about kind of where your funds are going to be spent on, and this is all with the aim of you coming away with a really good understanding of where your fundraising is going, how it's making that kind of impact, and also so you can therefore make through your fundraising you can raise awareness and give a really good understanding to your donors. Let's get started. So I thought it might be helpful just to remind ourselves why we asked volunteers to fundraise in the first place. So we asked you guys to fundraise for 4 different reasons, and those reasons are to show your commitment to the programme, to develop new skills and that are going to be really important whilst you're on placement, to raise awareness of ICS, and then obviously finally to raise money. So today we're going to focus in on obviously the money, but therefore how that links into you going out there and raising awareness of ICS and the organisation that you're volunteering with. So I suppose firstly, fundraising is like the first part of your ICS journey, and it's really important to remember kind of why you're doing it, and what messaging you want to get out there to people. So we've received 90% of the funding for the ICS programme from the government, specifically from DFID, so the Department for International Development, and through your fundraising you are funding the remaining 10%. So that means that the fundraising that you're doing at the moment, probably the likelihood is that it won't actually be going towards the specific project that you're working on, but it will be contributing to the overall costs of ICS through that fundraising. Basically that's so we can continue to run a sustainable, inclusive and really reliable programme. Your fundraising allows us to give a really life-changing experience to UK volunteers like yourselves, but also to in-country volunteers, so the volunteers working in the countries that we operate in, and that means that we can make a really big valuable contribution to the fight against poverty. So this brings us to more of like the raising awareness part. By taking on this challenge, you are basically promoting ICS and also the agency that you're going to be working with. So whether that's VSO or Rally, International Service, any of our partners. So that really does mean that you are the spokesperson for ICS and that organisation throughout your fundraising, which is great. And we really do rely on that. It's one of the main ways that we do get the word out there about ICS, so it is really valuable to us. So thanks for taking on that big commitment, but it does also mean that you have a big responsibility to maintain our good reputation, and to kind of get your messaging like on point with that. So donors to your fundraising should know that they're not paying for your place on the programme. That is already paid for, and the money won't necessarily be going to the project that you're going to be working on. But the great thing is when volunteers actually go up and beyond raising that 10%, it does mean that we can fund some really, really exciting programmes. So things like the youth conference that we had last year that was actually held at DFID, and also things like the alumni grant as well. And I think, Jake, you know a little bit more kind of about the alumni grant, so do you want to step in there?
The alumni grant is a great opportunity for people who have active citizenship ideas, beyond ICS, beyond what would normally be within the realms of the ICS volunteer journey, for them to put that into action. So, for example, we've just approved ICS alumni grant for a team of volunteers in Ghana. So they finished their programme a while back, have come together with a suggestion on how to host an active citizenship event within their local community, and that was a community clear-up. They recognise a need, so a need to build awareness of of how to keep a community clean. So they held an awareness raising event in the community, hosted then a community clean-up involving members of the community, and then also hosted a dinner afterwards for those who had taken part with some inspirational speakers. And the way that was done, they recognised that, put together an alumni grant application, which was then approved. So it goes through an approval process, and through the money you guys are raising, we're able to have some great outcomes from that beyond the ICS projects that you'll be taking part in.
Cool, great. Thanks, Jake. So I was just double checking that we can see your questions. So I did forget to mention that obviously this is mainly a really, really interactive session. So if you guys do have questions about anything that we're talking about your fundraising, please do just comment on the the comment box below the video. So yeah, we really want to kind of hear from you and answer any questions, anything that's not quite clear. So please do that. Cool. So I've also got some really cool links as well that we'll be sharing with you at the end, so that you can read up a little bit more about things like the alumni grant and also the youth conference that I mentioned as well. Cool. Okay, so I think this might be quite a good opportunity to just bring in Jake to talk a little bit more about some of the exciting projects that we are investing in at the moment. So yeah, do you want to take it over
great.
again?
So I thought we'd talk about 2 projects. If we've got time, we can maybe go into 3. First, a disclaimer: the projects I'm going to be talking about are VSO projects, and the other agencies that host ICS projects are doing some amazing work around the globe, and you can find out information about what those projects are on their websites, including the VSO website as well. One of our projects, 3 of our projects actually in Bangladesh are all working towards the same aim. They're governance projects, which means they're basically attempting to build awareness or ownership of active citizenship and social action within the communities that they're based in. VSO ICS volunteers in Bangladesh are working specifically with youth clubs in communities. Youth clubs in these communities are quite big, host a wide range of young people from across the community, but young people in particular aren't particularly engaged in the decision-making powers within the community, or within local service providers, or people who are making decision makers like local government. So the role of these projects is to build up the capacity of the youth clubs in order to hold people to account within the community, but also to help them have some decision making power within the communities they're based in. So part of that is through we host sexual reproductive health and rights awareness raising sessions to help young people in these communities become aware of what are their rights around sexual reproductive health and what should be provided for them. And then also the livelihoods piece as well, so helping young people and women within these communities access livelihood opportunities. So that might be helping micro-entrepreneurs develop business opportunities or understand the opportunities that are available to them that can be provided by local government or by local service providers, or it might be generally building up the skill sets of young people within these communities. So that could be CV writing workshops, that could be general IT skill building workshops as well. But it's all done through these youth clubs. And the idea is that by building youth clubs and by building up the capacity of young people to be leaders within the community, that spreads out across multiple communities. And the Bangladesh model works through cycles of 4 cycles of volunteers per project. At least that's what's planned. If more are needed, then we revise the project and we make sure that we need more cycles for that. But ultimately, it means the projects are totally by what is needed by the community, rather than what is, we know things sometimes need to be changed. Then we've also got the project in Nandi, which is in Kenya. It's a community in Kenya. It's a project which has actually just come to a close, but it was quite a big project for us here at VSO, as it was done in partnership with an organisation called Deafway. And all the volunteers were either deaf or hearing impaired, and the idea was it all fitted into Kenya's inclusive education strategy, so VSO Kenya's inclusive education strategy, and the purpose of the project was to enhance the integration of deaf people and people who are hearing impaired, increase their integration into the local community, and help them to access education, access to education, and also socio-economic development of the community members. But through using deaf volunteers and hearing impaired volunteers, the aim was also to bridge that gap between the hearing and the deaf communities within the local community. There'll be some great videos coming out of this project soon, and the project, from what I understand, has been a great success, and it's helped to increase the understanding of deaf culture within this community amongst hearing members of the community as well, and has gone some way to increase that engagement with both communities rather than the segregation that we sometimes see.
Cool. Great. Probably have got time for a
One
third
more?
one. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, great. So I'll talk about Zambia, which is a country that VSO has had a long-running history with, and our ICS projects go back quite a few years now. One of which this project is CHOMA. So CHOMA is where we've been running a sexual reproductive health and rights project for the past several years now, and it's a project which is aiming to build up awareness of sexual reproductive health and rights amongst young people in the community. So one aspect of that would be building spaces for young people to access the information relating to sexual reproductive health and rights. But that will also spread out to be things like awareness raising activities within the community, so wider than just young people but community members as well, to build up not just awareness of sexual reproductive health and rights, but also an understanding of what that means for them in terms of getting things from local service providers, and what members of the community should be responsible for in providing this. What I should say, with all VSO's ICS projects, the theme of the project is only just one part. Volunteers have a huge role to play in shaping what happens to them on their placements. So while there will be some activities which will be expected, we also host things like community action days, which are great opportunities for for the volunteers on these projects to use the skills that they've come with, to use what they're particularly passionate about, and host events in the community to engage people across all age demographics, across all social demographics in the activity of what the ICS team are doing. We also host things called active citizenship days, which are again opportunities for volunteers to learn from each other, and the activity type that volunteers do get engaged in is ultimately only one part of your ICS experience. There's a huge opportunity to really get the most out of it from what you want to get out of it, and the skills that you bring are are fantastic as part of that, and that's why ICS is such an inclusive programme, that you guys can really shape it the way you want to shape it, within the rounds of whatever outcomes designed to come out of that project.
Definitely. Cool. Thanks very much, Jake. Yeah, I think that last point is a really, really great one, and I think that's why ICS isn't just your placement. The overseas 3 months experience. It is the fundraising that you do beforehand. The skills that you're going to learn there, the awareness that you're going to raise throughout that part. And then when you get back, your action at home, and that idea that you are becoming an active citizen in your community. So it is it's more than just that kind of that 3 months away as well. Cool. And we've all pretty much everyone on my team has actually been on an ICS placement, including Jake as well. So when you're on the phone to us or you're in touch with us, do ask us if you want to find out more. We're all really, really willing to talk to you guys about our experiences. There is also the ICS blog on the website, which has some really, really great stories from past volunteers, all about their experiences. So do check it out. Do look at the resources that we've got. Cool. So I suppose to answer some of the questions that we've got here. So we've got a couple of questions about the grant. So just to clarify, the grant that we were referring to is actually it's an alumni grant that is eligible for. So you're eligible for it if you're an in-country volunteer and you want to do something kind of positive in your community. So basically it's only open to volunteers that are in country. Just to kind of clarify that one. And we've also, have we got any other questions? I'm just going to double check because it's on my other computer. Just bear with us. So we've got cool. So so that's kind of, we've just got a few questions about the grant, and I think Isaac has kind of clarified those as well. So if you guys do have any other questions, please do ask them. We're coming towards the end, so not much time left. I suppose just to kind of sum up really, so you've kind of got the key points to take away. So your fundraising is not paying for your place on the programme. It won't necessarily be going towards the projects that you work on, but will be going towards the overall cost of ICS, so we can fund programmes like the ones that Jake talked about, that obviously are VSO ones, but also there's ones across all of the other agencies. Donors to your fundraising should know, therefore, that your fundraising and their donation to your fundraising is not paying for your place on the programme, and their money therefore won't necessarily be going towards that community that you're going to end up going overseas to. But do tell them about some of the projects that ICS works in. Get really passionate about the different programmes. Tell them about it, tell them about what you could be doing overseas, do some research on your agencies, the kinds of work that they do work in, share things like the blogs with your donors, so that they have got a really clear idea of what ICS is. They are making a real life-changing contribution to poverty therefore. So do thank them for that, make that really clear. On that point, make sure that you do thank all your donors, remind them how much you've raised so far, and do tell them where the funds are going, and how their donation has helped. And like I said, you can find out more about the blog. I'm going to post a couple of links just now on there. Yeah, I just want to, I suppose, I don't know if we've got any questions. I think, yeah, a bit quiet on the question front, which is fine. But, you know, if you guys do have any questions kind of coming away from this video, get in touch with your fundraising support officer. They'll be really, really keen to talk to you, you know, more about this. I suppose, yeah, it just leaves us to thank you guys for, you know, for attending. Yeah, and also thank you guys for making the massive commitment to, you know, ICS and to fundraising and, you know, raising awareness. You know, we really, really do appreciate it here at ICS. We couldn't do it without you guys. So, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.